everybody. Welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Hannah Hillam.
And I'm Kaveh, and I am, you guessed it, not feeling well. However, I'm still here.
I was going to say, you sound energetic and
sound
well-rested. Great. Yeah, we've got Paragon of Health, Kaveh here, and he is here
not everybody can be like me.
Out-health
you. I put those brain worms in. I took the vaccines out of my body because RFK Jr. told me to do that, and he said that was the smart way to
And you listen to everybody.
Exist. I listen to everything that RFK Jr. says.
There's
by the
no
way,
critical thought.
Shout out. I forgot who the person was. I didn't take their name down, but when we went to Oregon, somebody made this delightful sticker that's on my new sketchbook, which is an image of an Oregon Trail from the old Mac version, and like it's the image of when you die, and it's the wagon with the not the horse. What is it called?
Ox.
I'm tired.
Oxen.
Ox. And it just says, usually it says like you died of dysentery or something in the subtitle. So it just says you listened to RFK Jr.
Which, hey, how real that's going to be if we keep listening to people, keep listening to him, because guess what? We're all going to get sick.
But yes, take your vaccines. That was a joke, of course. You can't be too sure these days of what people are listening to. But no, unfortunately, we came back from Oregon. And as has been the case lately, I tend to now get like a little bit of a cold, which I never used to do. I don't know if it's because we're overdoing it while we're there and it's like too much chaos and admittedly the laughter and stuff is fun, but I probably don't get enough rest. And I think I'm not in my 20s. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So it catches up with me as soon as I come home.
You're not in your 30s either.
I'm not even in my 30s. Exactly.
You know what I think it is that, like I said, most of our friendship is like a dare.
It's true.
Like we're on the couch laughing until we cry and it's midnight and we're both like, we need to go to bed, but neither of us can stop.
No, we can't.
When New York rolls around,
it's gonna be we have to be responsible in New York because we have a lot of stuff happening. It's a big show. I got sick. So I was actually thinking about it. So this one I got sick after C2E2. I also got sick after New York last year, but I did not get sick in Emerald City. And part of that was because I think because I was staying with our friend Kristen and I didn't stick around you. We didn't escalate.
That's right.
That's
you went
the whole
home
time.
Early. Okay. New York, we're going to go back. We can't handle this. We have to be insane earlier in the day. Okay?
Exactly.
Except for the live stream. We'll sacrifice ourselves for the 10 people who watch that.
Listen, speaking of sacrificing yourself, though, I'm just going to say this up front. I mean, your tab is first, but I don't know how coherent my tab is, but I was like, I can't back down. I can't not do an episode, so I have to do it. And I figured the more insane and sick and out of my mind I sound, it's probably more fun for the audience. So here I am, yuck it up and laugh at your idiot clown co-host.
Again, pushing it too far, like we just talked about not doing, but hey, whatever. Speaking of being sick.
Yeah.
Mine's all about sickness.
Yeah, I was going to say, you told me to eat, which I realized now you were like, hey, you should probably eat before this episode because you're not going to want to eat after. And I realized after I ate, or as I was eating, I was like, isn't this going to make me want to throw up the things that I ate? I probably shouldn't have eaten at all.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. That's where we are.
It's pretty gross.
It'd have nothing to do with that, and I would just throw up anyway because I'm not feeling well. But
my tab today is a series of instances of self-experimentation in medicine. Okay. And I've had this one on the docket for a while, but finally was actually inspired to research it after we read Liz from South Dakota's listener mail on our listener mail episode about Barry James Marshall, the Australian doctor who experimented on himself by drinking a beaker full of H. pylori to prove that stomach ulcers, stomach, as you say, helicopter pylori, which
helicopter pylori.
almost exclusively referred to it as that the entire episode. So he drank some helicopter pylori and proved that stomach ulcers were also caused by bacteria, not just stress. So you know
what's funny is that because I wrote nothing for that episode, because we were just I don't remember any of it. I've completely forgotten every single thing we talked about because I did not prepare.
Elon Musk?
I remember. It's funny. I was going through my sketchbook because I started a new one, and I was like going through and being like, "Do I need to remember anything to carry over to the next one?" I saw my drawing of Eglon. I was like, "Oh right, I forgot that I did." I was like, "I forgot about the whole Eglon thing." It's like I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's a fugue state. Like I do not. It's like I'm speaking in tongues. I don't remember. It's like I disassociate. It's like playing music. It's like people are like, "What'd you do for that guitar solo?" I'll be like, "I don't know. Why are you asking me?"
I just did it.
I think
you're tapping into like the creative part of your brain that allows you to just make stuff, and it ends up making things like helicopter pylori and Eglon Musk. So real good and quality.
Yeah, it's
truly.
shocking I'm not more successful. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So shocking. Okay, so shout out to Liz, but also it just helped me remind myself that I had this tab open. So the most well-known of these doctors who experimented on themselves is Jonas Salk, who tested, I think it was the polio vaccine on himself and his family first, and it worked.
Hey, shout out to vaccines.
I'm going to say something really quick, and everybody listening to this is probably on my side, but go walk around a graveyard and just see how many infant graves there are from before 1940, all right? I dare you. So many. And that's why we have vaccines. So you can all, I don't know.
Vaccines good.
Vaccines good. RFK
Michael.
Bad.
Yeah.
RFK bad, Michael. Okay. Okay. So there's Jonas Salk, and then there's also Albert Hoffman, who famously discovered LSD.
Yeah. I remember Albert Hoffman.
Tripped balls while riding his bike around town.
His bicycle home. That's right.
Yep. Not 419. Sorry. What is it called? April 19th is Bicycle Day, which is the day you're supposed to
get high and ride a bike.
Get high and you ride a bike, and then the next day is 420. So fun week
then
for all.
Then you smoke weed after tripping acid.
Yeah.
It's just a fun couple days.
Don't judge everybody's choices.
No, I just mean you're not getting anything done on those 2 days. That's all I'm saying. Nothing's happening.
So I found a few other notable ones whose efforts, some of them proved to like change medicine forever, and then some were mostly for nothing.
Yeah.
And have made some insane stories. So first on the list is Edwin Katsky. Now, Katsky I think he lived in the early 1900s, but at the time, cocaine was used as an anesthetic, right?
Yeah.
So they would just like dose people with coke and be like, you can't feel anything, right? And they're like, nope. So they started noticing that this was actually kind of bad too. Like there were side effects.
To not feel anything?
Well, there's just to put cocaine in somene's body by the milligram.
Oh, yeah. So many bad screenplays were written after that. Terrible podcasts were started. Insufferable.
Yeah. They're like, this guy just wants to write a screenplay. We gotta research this. So Edwin Katsky was like, maybe, because he was what is it called?
A cokehead?
No, he's a proctologist.
Oh.
He was a proctologist. So Edwin Katsky.
You don't want a cokehead proctologist. I feel like that's a bad combination.
Don't worry, nobody had a proctologist named Edwin Katsky after this because he made sure of that. So he was like, cocaine's not great. There's no good side effects. So I'm going to try to like see how this goes. I'm going to overdose on coke. And I'm going to document all of it. Yeah, okay. So he didn't think he'd die. But a lot of people don't think they're going to die when they're that confident.
Oh, no. Poor guy. Yeah, he was trying to do it it was kind of like for science he was trying to do it. Oh, that's rough.
This is the only one that did end up dying from it. I'm not going to go into more of the dying ones, but this one is just interesting because it's so coke-addled. So he did so much cocaine one night, and he decided, I'm going to write all the symptoms and observations on my walls around me. Like a scientist does.
It's the most cocaine-fueled idea I've ever heard.
That's a coke idea through and through.
100%.
So he just starts scrawling on his walls. Like at one point he said, eyes are mildly dilated, but vision is excellent. Now I'm able to stand up. And then there was like some down by the floor that he wrote that he was obviously just like laying on the floor. And then toward the end he began, then he said partial recovery, smoked a cigarette. And then toward the end,
no, it just keeps your high going. That's what That's what you can't smoke a cigarette in the middle of it. Oh.
So then he starts writing warnings, and he's like, whoa, no one should ever do this. Please don't do this. Make sure that you put this documentation in all medical textbooks. So this is for nothing because I'm not doing this experiment again. And the last word he ever wrote was near the ground, and it just said paralysis. And
no.
Yeah, it's really sad. They found.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to laugh.
I actually feel really bad for him.
Me too. He had written before that he was willing to sacrifice himself because he had seen the like effects of cocaine as an addictive substance in like relatives and people around him. And so he really wanted to actually be like, okay, what does this do? And he did lose his life to it. And many of his notes.
This is what year? Sorry?
Oh, I gotta check. Okay, hold on.
You said early 1900s, I think, right?
1936.
Oh, that's pretty late, actually.
Yeah.
That's later than I thought it would be.
We had been using cocaine for a long time to as like an anesthetic. And so it was finally took him to be like, I don't know, this can't be good.
Why was he like, I'm going to overdose on it to take, like, what is the point of that?
Well, I don't think he knew. he just wanted to take as much as he could to see what would happen, to see how far he could go.
Sounds like a coke addict to me. Sounds like he was addicted.
Kind of. It kind of sounds like he was like, I may as well make something of this. So I wanted to get the one that died out of the way first. The next one is August Beer, and he's a German dude, and he was the very first guy to use spinal anesthetic. So like, you know, to right into your spinal column. Yeah.
He did it to himself?
He tried. So he this was the late 1800s. So he was like, there's got to be he's like, we're using coke for everything. What if we put cocaine into the spinal column?
Jesus Christ.
Then it could numb specific areas.
Everything inside your body.
Everything. Well, if you do that, you can like find numb certain areas if you put it in the right spot. So he ended up creating something called the Beer block, because his last name was Beer, that you could make a block. You could block certain parts of your body from feeling pain. So he's like,
still doing that today. Yes.
But
with literal beer. Yes.
I'll do this myself. So he did. All the cocaine came out, didn't work. It went into his
wasted cocaine. Could have used it to overdose 30 years later.
30 years. He ended up cerebrospinal fluid just started pouring out of him along with all the cocaine.
Christ.
And he had the worst headache on earth, horrible headache. And he was like, that didn't work. And his assistant, August Hildebrandt, also named August, was like, no worries, just do it to me. And
why?
Because they wanted to prove that this could work, because he couldn't do it to people unless he proved that it could work. And he's like, best way to do it is to ourselves.
Listen, at least that's I'm putting my own money into this project because I believe in it, and I'm not going to go around asking somebody else to do it. I respect that.
Which is ethically, self-experimentation has been kind of looked at kind of iffy, but they're only doing it to themselves. So they're not
you're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting any animals.
Unwilling. Yeah. And if you die, then that's your, that's on you. And so his assistant, August Hildebrandt, was like, no, we'll just do it to me. Look, we can still do this. And so they did. And this time it worked.
Oh, it did?
And so August Hildebrandt was unable to feel anything below his waist. So
temporarily, I assume.
Temporarily.
He did not become paralyzed.
No. But to test that, they needed to hurt him. So,
oh God! They have to break his ankles.
Almost. They got an iron hammer, and
oh no!
And Beer just starts hitting his shins with it, kicking his shins. He put a needle into
misery style.
Oh. And he couldn't feel any of it. He was like, "Do it harder, more," and put a needle down to his femur bone. I know. They started smashing his balls. Pulling out his
Hannah, you were wrong. I'm starving now.
This just made you hungrier. Oh no. Anyway, they plucked his pubes out, and he was like, still don't feel anything. And then afterward they were like, nice, that went well. Let's drink wine and smoke cigars to celebrate. And then both of them were in bed for a week afterward.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So this one, okay, we can make it through this one.
Uh-oh.
Max Joseph von Pettenkofer. All right, so good German. Feels like there's
a theme here.
A theme here. He is considered the father of modern hygiene, which so he had this idea that if you have dirty water or dirty air, or you don't dump your poo far away enough, then you'll get sick. And he was right.
Yeah.
So he was all for proper sewage disposal and because at the time it was the late 1800s again, and cities were growing huge. So everyone's like, there's way too much sewage,
shit everywhere,
to know what to do with. And everyone's
I've said this before, and I'll say it again, which is plumbing and toilets and proper sewage disposal, and how it gets kind of recirculated and cleansed and dealt with. There's a lot of stuff that we talk about. We're like, oh, technology is cool because I have a phone and I can have a map.
No.
And I'm like, no, the shit that you take that you never see, that the way that it gets disposed of, that is the thing. That is the greatest part of modern technology and modern science. And it's Because everyone's always like, oh, we'll time travel back to like whatever. And I'm like,
No.
I'm not taking a shit in an outhouse in the Old West. I would immediately die. There's no bidet there.
No, but there's a bunch of mercury. If you follow
it's true. From Lewis and Clark, you're shitting everywhere. But no,
but
truly,
yeah, like I don't think we
salute
understand.
to our sanitation brothers and sisters for all the work. I mean that sincerely. Like it is a thing that I'm deeply grateful for.
Because I don't
I'm so
think
happy that we live in this
have no
era.
idea. We have no living memory of what it was like.
That's how
before.
good we have it when it comes to sanitation.
That's how good. Yeah.
Yeah.
People used to just dump it in rivers and then drink the water. Like it was bad.
Yeah. It's brutal.
It was really bad. Speaking of drinking water full of poo, let me just continue on with Joseph von Pettenkofer.
Sorry.
And he rightly came to the conclusion, that the disease was spread through dirty cities and stuff like that. And the cities were growing. And so he was in Munich during this huge cholera outbreak. And if you don't know what cholera is, in so many words, you just diarrhea yourself to death. And imagine all of that, 10% of the city dying of that in a tight spaced living quarters in the city in Munich. And he was like, surely if we just make sure they don't breathe bad air and do this, then they should be fine. But another doctor named Koch was like, no, there's this thing called the germ theory.
Dr.
I know, his name's Koch. It's cocaine as a person.
But it's like Koch or something?
Yes, it's like the Koch brothers Coke.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. My favorite. Absolute gems of the U.S.
Human
Thankfully,
beings.
one of them's
wonderful.
dead. Love it. Hopefully the other will die.
You know what's nice to think about is that he will.
They all will
one
day.
What all of them.
Yeah.
Yep. So Koch, Dr. Koch was like, no, there's this thing called germ theory. And it's that these tiny little pathogens called germs, you spread them person to person, and that's how you get diseases. And von Pettenkofer? Where'd it go? Von Pettenkofer was like, absolutely not. I subscribe to Galen's theory from 2,000 years ago.
He's petting and coughing. At the sound.
I'm Pettenkofer, and I will cough all over this dog.
So hard, and I cough like nobody's business. So they call me Dr. Pettenkofer.
Pettenkofer.
Worst joke ever. Sorry, I'm sick.
It was fine. You're sick. You
coughing.
have no excuse. I mean, you have an excuse. Anyway, so Pettenkofer was like, no, I believe Galen, which we talked about last episode where that Persian guy politely just like roasted Galen. Remember that?
Yeah. From, what was it, like 1,000 years earlier or something? Yeah.
And Galen...
He wrote the most polite letter of all time.
Yeah, which is like, you're so wrong. And look, I'm your humble servant.
I knew that if you were alive today, that you would also
agree
with me. Yeah.
It's just like, it's too polite. It's great.
Sorry, Cough is saying that people are like cough. No, sorry. Koch is saying that germs are spread through coughing, but then Pettenkofer is like, no, it's not through coughing.
Through miasma. Miasma, which is like bad air. And he was so set on this theory and so against germ theory that he was like, I'll show you. I'm going to put cholera in my body.
Awesome.
And I will survive it because it's not passed through bacteria.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's already flawed from the beginning. So he's like, how am I going to get cholera into my body?
Well, eat a pile of shit?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You got it. He took a sample of, diarrhea, because there was plenty, diluted it in water, and drank it in front of witnesses. I know. We're going to make it through. We might not. You good?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get sick. And so he's like, see?
So he's like, more diarrhea.
Yes.
What?
So he's like, he had diarrhea for a week. That's it.
Oh, he did have it. Okay.
He did, but he's like, I didn't get, that was something else.
That was just from drinking the diarrhea.
Right.
That was like, if you put diarrhea into your body, you're just going to shit diarrhea out, obviously.
And that's why my theory of a 2,000-year-old theory about miasma is correct. And everyone's like, oh, he didn't get sick, but he did. He got a low dose, like like mild cholera. And they think that it's because he had been exposed to cholera so much while treating people that he was just kind of like didn't have a strong response. And so he kind of went to his deathbed being like, well, I did that experiment and I was right. And it's like, no, you just drank diarrhea.
He's like the Dread Pirate Roberts of diarrhea. He's like sitting there with Vizzini. He's like, both cups contain a little bit of diarrhea in them.
So far we've got some guy scribbling.
Can't watch The Princess Bride ever again.
No.
Yeah.
scribbling notes on his walls in a coke-addled state. We've got a guy who just kicks his assistant in the balls to see if he can feel it. And we've got a man who drinks diarrhea. Okay, so those are the 3 so far. We got a couple more. Okay. And I'm just going to go right into the next worst one because I want to get it over with.
Okay.
This guy is named Stubbing Firth. And
no, he's not. That's a made-up name. That's not a real name.
Stubbing
Firth.
Stubbing Firth was a lunatic. All right, this freak.
What choice did he have? His name is Stubbing Firth.
It's like, this kid's going to go on to be an insane doctor.
Yeah.
And so this was in 1793, where yellow fever was like fully wrecking the world. And he was like,
so what exactly is yellow fever? I never looked it up to see exactly what it is.
Yellow fever is like, it's what's spread through mosquitoes, which they didn't know at the time. And it's just like a hemorrhagic fever. So like you like kind of cough up like bile and stuff. Hold on. Yellow fever symptoms. Oh, chills, severe headache, vomiting. So yeah, you get like a lot of bile in your you get jaundice. They call it yellow fever because you turn yellow.
Right.
You bleed from your nose and gums, and your liver and kidney fail. So it was really
hard. Is it
hard
fatal always?
It is. Not always, because we can treat it now. It still exists. So there's vaccines for it though. So, again.
Oh, interesting.
Don't let this guy drink diarrhea for nothing. Get your vaccines against all of this. All right. He sacrificed his stomach for you. Anyway, Stubbing Firth. So he's like, he was sort of on the right track when he was like, no. This is not contagious. People don't pass this to each other. But he didn't know what, and he was right because they didn't. It was passed by mosquitoes, but he just didn't like connect the dots. And so he was like, I have to prove to everybody that taking like fluids from people with yellow fever and putting them in myself isn't going to give me yellow fever. It didn't, because he was right on that track, but he didn't stop him from putting vomit into his open cuts. And then that didn't do anything, so he drank the vomit. And then he like covered himself in blood and piss multiple times to see, like, this is what I mean. He's a lunatic.
This guy's just Gigi Allen is all he is, basically, at this point.
And the whole time everyone around him was like, buddy, this is a lot. Like, even for 1790, they were like, whoa, you can't just sit in a vat of vomit. You have to. That's not science. Anyway, he was like, no, see, I'm not infected at all. And they're like, Stubbing, come on, man. And he thought he was right because he didn't get infected. Turns out he just never got, bitten by a mosquito with yellow fever. And that was then proven correct later, that the mosquito theory by a Cuban doctor named Carlos Finley. And then it was proven correct by Walter Reed, who we named a hospital after. Oh. He was the guy who proved that yellow fever was mosquito-borne. Salute.
By letting a bunch of mosquitoes bite him like over and over again while he threw up and drank diarrhea and shit everywhere in the name of science.
Stubbing Firth. Yeah, he lived to be like 35. I don't know how he died, but I think that putting blood or like vomit in your cuts is probably not good for your long-term health.
Sorry, I have to interject here because you love these instances, but read in Farsi, when you say read, it's like the past tense of shat. So it's like Walter Reed, like he shat.
Yes.
You roll the R a little bit. Reed. Reedy. It's like you screwed it up, but you also say you ruined something.
Reed.
Walter Reed.
Reed Hospital. Walter Shat Hospital. Love it. Walter Shat Hospital. Anyway, are you fading? Are you good?
Short for Reed the Moon. Sorry. No, I'm good. We can keep going.
Okay. I got a few more. 2 more.
Perfect.
We get done with Stubbins Firth. The next is a guy named John Hunter. Now this guy, okay, how to get strength. He thought gonorrhea and syphilis were the same disease caused by a single pathogen. And he was like, well, I got to prove it by giving myself
gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea. He found a corpse of a recently deceased person with gonorrhea.
No. Oh, no.
And he got some fluids or whatever, liquid, whatever it is. Didn't look deeply because this one actually made me want to throw up. And then he got a lancet and he poked himself in the penis. And the lancet was covered in pus from a dead person. And he gave himself gonorrhea.
Why does he have to go to a dead person?
Because I don't know. I don't know.
There's no alive people with gonorrhea at the time?
There was, but it was, I guess, like the stage of it needed to be. Anyway, he was just like, I swear they're the same disease. And he ended up contracting both diseases. And so he was like, see, they're the same thing. I have syphilis and gonorrhea now, which to him proved the theory that they were the same disease, when actually the corpse he got it from also had syphilis. So he just, for no reason, gave himself both syphilis and gonorrhea. Because he was that sad. I'm like, see, now I got both. They're the same. And I'm pretty sure he died pretty quickly. Like, I think he died.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Of syphilis. So that guy's an idiot. Just all of these guys are
zombie syphilis in your body is just zombie.
Stupid.
Oh.
I would love to know what that Persian doctor would politely say to these people.
No, he would just be like, you people are disgusting.
Yep.
My people invented, I don't know, like math and democracy, and you people are injecting
pus into your dicks.
Dead pus into your dicks. You're shameful.
Okay, I'm gonna end this on a lighter one, because those were we're all disgusting.
Okay.
But this guy's interesting. His name is John Paul Stapp, and he was an army colonel in the 40s in the U.S. And he was also a flight surgeon. I don't know what that means. And a physician.
He's doing surgery in the sky.
He's just opening up planes and just removing their hearts. He's giving planes gonorrhea.
Give me this plane's dick pus so I can inject it into me. We did this to ourselves.
I don't know. I'm sorry, sort of. So he was like, yeah, I'll be the person to experiment with. Like, because they were testing on like how a human body would react to an unpressurized aircraft at 40,000 feet. Okay. So he was like, I'm a pilot, get me up there. I'll do it. And they wanted to see what would happen to his body without the oxygen. He didn't feel good. That was just one of the first tests. Then he went on to get strapped into this thing called the rocket sled. Great. And this is in 1947. Well. It did. He lived to be 90. So just know that. Yeah, here is a picture of him in the rocket sled. And it's like this.
Whoa.
You can see his hair. He
looks like a crash test dummy.
Well, that's because the crash test dummy was modeled after this.
Oh, no way. It's got that same pattern of like the circle with the checkers on it.
Yeah. So he was like...
no shit.
Yeah. So he did a bunch of tests like facing forward and facing backward at going at like insane speeds. And that's how they discovered that if you're facing backwards, you have a higher chance of surviving a front-on crash, which is why they tell you to keep your children's car seats backwards for so long. And if you're in the front, if you're facing forwards, you have more of a chance of like breaking your knees or like crushing your like rib cage and stuff. So they also discovered that like the human body can absolutely withstand going to 632 miles an hour in 5 seconds.
Whoa.
And he did that, and it broke a bunch of his bones, and it hemorrhaged his retinas. And other than that, he was fine. He was totally fine, and he just kept doing all of this. And he was like, yeah, just see what happens. And because of him, he was an early advocate of seatbelts, because in the 40s,
we now have the crash test dummies action figures from the 1990s.
Yes.
That was his greatest contribution to society. Those were really fun, by the way. I love
Salute to him. No, he opened up a testing facility to test cars and like what happens to the human body in a car crash.
That's cool.
Yeah, this was in the 50s, and he was like, we absolutely have to wear seatbelts, you guys. And everyone's like, no.
Another thing that people still, for some reason, are against.
They don't do. Yeah. No, I know. It's like you hear like stories like my mom's like, yeah, on a road trip, we would just all be sitting down on the floor in the back of the van. Just and I mean, I kind of even remember doing that a little bit.
Yeah, the 80s were still like a little holdover from that. I think by the time the 90s rolled around, we were like, we should probably not put the cigarette lighter on our faces while we lie in the back unseatbelted.
We should probably not experiment with this cigarette lighter.
Don't put your tongue on that thing.
Did you
I know
do
it
that?
feels good. No, I'm just kidding.
Wild that we used to have cigarette lighters in our car, but hey. So yeah, he was like, just went through all sorts of stuff. And his tests that he invented are still used today for safety testing.
That's awesome.
And he came up with the crash test dummy. It was the first time they ever used the crash test dummy. It was in his facility.
Some of the worst songs ever written. I hate that song.
Which? Oh, by the crash test but dummies?
Again, not on my strongest today, but here we go. I'm still trying. I'm sick. I'm here to be laughed at.
Dick pus, okay? It's not. I'm not on my strongest either.
Dead dick pus, Hannah, please.
Zombie dick pus. My bad.
Zombie dick pus, yes.
And, anyway, so he came up with what was called Stapp's Law. And it was kind of like a funny joke thing because he was kind of like Murphy's Law, which he popularized. For those who don't, Murphy's Law is anything that could go wrong will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stapp's Law is the universal aptitude for ineptitude makes any human accomplishment an incredible miracle.
I'm kind of on board with that.
Yeah. It's the fact that, and I think that pays tribute to the rest of these guys and the things they did, which horrific, but in the end, a lot of them did help us understand cocaine. And that guy who injected coke into the spinal column, that actually ended up like revolutionizing anesthesia and amputations and all that sort of stuff. They didn't have to just use topical anesthesia anymore. They could actually like numb you up to the point where you didn't feel anything. Or not even numb you up, it just blocked. Like I had an epidural with my kid, and it's wild how that feels. You're just like, cool, my whole lower half, I feel it's like I don't have a lower half. Like there's nothing down there. It's wild. So it's like, salute to that guy, even though he had to kick his friend in the balls a bunch to get the results.
Which they were probably going to do that for fun anyway. It just they ended up being able to do it for science.
So like our weekly ball kicking session is made way easier with this. So yeah, I think we're all idiots, but look where we've gotten to, and I'm so glad for modern plumbing. Look at us. Anyway, mine was a little shorter this week, but I want to end it there so you can go on to yours without falling asleep.
Very nice. Thank you for the zombie dick pus, cocaine overdose, and vomit drinking and shit drinking. Sorry, diarrhea drinking tab. None of what I said was a joke. That was literally all the stuff that was just covered. That's why you're the pig pen of this podcast, Hannah.
There was a lot more too that I was like, these are all really cool, but like I kind of wanted to focus on the idiots. There was also like recent ones too, like this guy who like put a bunch of hookworms under his skin to like prove something.
What is a hook? Like a worm that you put on a hook when you go fishing?
I don't know what a hookworm is. I stopped reading at that point. I was like, okay. Anyway.
Okay, so my tab this week is something that Sarah had told me about, and I decided to look into it. And normally I wouldn't care that much because it has to do with the Revolutionary War, which you already lost me. I don't really care about the Revolutionary War. It's like, sorry, British fighting a bunch of British expats.
Me neither. It's my least favorite time in American history.
Boring.
There's a bunch of battle names. There's a bunch of, I don't know.
It's really not that interesting to me.
No.
It's just as a topic. I mean, I'm sure.
And it's also like, cool stuff when you look at it, it's like, we won despite it all. And it's like, no, the British were stretched thin everywhere. And they were like, okay, we're just going to have to let them have their country.
Whatever.
So, anyway.
It's just kind of boring. And also, I'm generally bored with war as a subject. Like, I'm not really into it. Like, again, I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm like too cool. It's just like, that guy had like a gun and then he shot the other guy with that gun. And then the gun bullet shot the other guy's face and his head exploded. He's really good at gun bullet shoot face, like cannon. And then the other guy was like, no, but I got gun cannon shot bullet to go into the other guy.
And now we're all
that
heroes.
That guy should be president and he should figure out how to get us diarrhea away from the city because he was real good at shooting gun bullets at the other guy. And he's president now. And that's kind of how I feel about all these things. I don't care.
I come with you on that. I get pretty bored with battles and stuff.
Yeah, I'm frankly, I'm more interested on the political side always than the killing side. It's like,
me too.
War.
Well, the killing side is just bad. More like boring. Like the killing side, it's like war is the same like throughout all of history. It's just like, that's what we do. We go to war and we kill people and it sucks and it's bad. And I don't like it.
Usually it's just like, this guy was a genius because he killed all of these soldiers that were his own by just throwing wave after wave of people whose lives were meaningless. And then this other guy did the same thing on the other side.
Right. Were they 14? Who cares? They saved our country.
It's cool.
Anyway.
Sorry to all of our super pro-war listeners who love learning about killing. Anyway, I don't know why. That's just another part of me that's like, I'm not a good straight man in my 40s. I failed. I should be brewing IPAs and being excited about the Battle of Normandy. But in actuality, both of those things give me long headaches, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
But
IPAs
anyway,
learning about Normandy.
So anyway, after doing a little bit of reading, I realized that I did actually kind of have a fun personal connection to the story. So once I had that point of reference and it was about the most interesting topic of all, which is me, I decided that perhaps it was worth my time to pursue this.
You fought in the Revolutionary War?
I was there 3,000 years ago.
I knew you were old. I didn't know you were like shooting bullets at the British. Anyway.
Yeah, that's when I was in my teenage years. So you remember Paul Revere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the redcoats are coming. The redcoats are coming. The regulars are coming out. Like, I love Diana Ross. Oh. The regulars are coming out.
I don't know what that is.
Coming out. So he said the redcoats are coming. So some people say like the British are coming, but apparently he might have actually said the regulars are coming out because the regulars would have been like a code word because there's a lot of people who are also British.
Really?
Well, because there's British I mean, they're all British, but there would have been British sympathizers. Yeah, but.
Okay, so he actually really said that.
So he said the theory is that I didn't read too much into it, but apparently the regulars are coming out would have been like more of the code of what he would say. That's why it's redcoats or the regulars. He wouldn't have said the English or the British are coming. But it doesn't matter because this is not a tab about Paul Revere.
Oh, good.
This is about a young girl named Sybil Ludington, who many celebrate as the female Paul Revere, which is insane because she should just be Sybil Ludington.
Sybil Ludington.
Because Paul Revere did not invent riding on a horse and screaming shit.
The female fill in the blank is so demeaning.
So I hate it.
So it's like, are you the female this? Yeah. It's like, no, I'm
unimaginative.
Exactly. I'm the female Paul Revere. I hope I go down in history as the female Paul Revere.
No, you're Sybil Ludington. And listen.
Sybil Ludington.
Also, I'm sorry, but Paul was only half the equation because, like, what about the horse? Because maybe Brown Beauty was famous amongst horses for other Brown Beauty. Maybe he was famous amongst other horses for warning the horses about red mares coming with their like Marmite hooves or whatever the shit British horses wear. Look, it's important to remember now and forever, humans are not the center of the universe, and we look at animals as accessories to our achievements, and it drives me insane. # Justice for Brown Beauty or Justice for Sherzad, depending on what your sources are for Paul Revere's horses. But anyway, this doesn't matter. That's just a side point. But the story is, this is the story of Sybil Ludington, whose mark on history is contested, but nevertheless interesting to me. Why?
Okay.
Because her story takes place in none other than Danbury, Connecticut, one town over from my elementary school stomping grounds of Richfield.
That's right. You lived in Richfield, Connecticut? That's like the most British white thing I've ever heard. We live in Richfield.
Richfield, Connecticut in the 1980s.
Because we're all rich. No, that's, okay, so this is in Connecticut. You got lots of ties there. You went to elementary school there, right?
I went to elementary school. This was my villain origin story. It was that, like, I had to go live amongst the whites in Richfield.
And endlessly hear about the Mayflower. And the Revolutionary War. Oh.
True story, in the 4th grade, one of my assignments in history class, did I ever tell you this?
I don't know, maybe.
The homework assignment was we were learning about the flags of Europe. This is a true story. And the teacher goes, your homework tonight is to go home and figure out which country in Europe your family is from and then draw those flags and bring it back tomorrow. And I was like, I'm going to fail the class.
You're like, there's
I was
nowhere.
Like, oh no, I'm going to fail the assignment. Anyway.
That's insane.
That's that's the whiteness I grew up in.
Were you the only non-white kid in your class?
In my class, yes, but there was one other family that was half Iranian in the town. Shout out to Bijan. I think he listens to this sometimes, actually.
No way.
Yeah.
Shout out, dude.
Shout out Bijan and Aryan, who are my friends, whose mom was a Persian art teacher and whose dad was a toy maker. He was a white guy at school. Tim, my friend Tim, I've told you about him. Anyway.
Connecticut is, I think that's like the East Coast is like a whole different kind of white.
East Coast, Connecticut, New England white people are
this
like
is New England. It's very much like we're still half British to this day, in the way we like act and talk and socialize, and whereas out here we're all just descended from like psychopaths who were like, we're out of here.
Made it to the other coast.
Whoa, let's dig for gold and, I don't know, rob trains.
The rob trains, yeah. Anyway, so Richfield was where I went to elementary school, and then Danbury is the next town over. So that was why I was interested in it. I was like, I was reading about it. I was like, there's a bunch of stuff I didn't know about because I was like 7. But now it's like, that's kind of funny. That's where that name comes from. Oh, that's what this is for. So the story of Sybil Ludington. So are you already laughing at
Just laughing at that assignment still. That is absurd. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to, if you were forced to choose a European country to say your family was from, what would it be?
No. What would I say? I guess the French would probably be the closest to Persian culture because the French or the Persians love the French.
Yeah, don't they?
I don't necessarily identify with it. But
no, I just wanted to ask you an impossible question.
There's a lot of the Moorish influence in Spain, I guess, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
Spain.
But even though we're not Arabs, but that's the closest next adjacent thing.
The closest. Jeez. Okay. Go on.
Anyway, okay. So the eldest of 12 children, Sybil Ludington, was born on April 5th, 1761, in what is now Kent, New York. And her father was Colonel Henry Ludington, and he was a respected militia officer and veteran of the French Indian War who would later go on to become an aide to General George Washington.
Wow, got a celebrity up here in the house.
Yeah, but at this moment in time, Hank commanded the 7th Regiment of the Dutchess County Militia, a volunteer regiment of local men during the Revolutionary War.
Okay, so a bunch of like farmers' sons with their guns and pickaxes and stuff.
Minutemen, I believe. I remember if you learned about this in school, if they still teach that in school, I don't know. But dudes who could go at like any minute. That's all it was. Just like in a minute, you could just grab a gun and run and just be like, I'm here to kill English. I believe if I remember my history lessons correctly, that might be different now, but I feel like that's what I remember learning.
Oh, interesting. I sleep with a baseball bat next to my bed, so you could say I'm a Minuteman.
You're a minute lady. You're a
also,
minute
Sean
bat.
My husband was an extra in the Disney movie Minutemen. That's what I thought of when you said that.
There's a movie called Minutemen by Disney? I don't know this.
It's not. I rewatched it because I was like, where are you? He's in like half the scenes. It's wild.
Really?
Yes. I was like, wait, I thought you were like just in there his whole family's in there.
What is the movie?
It's like these kids who go like to build a time travel, like a time machine, and they have to, I don't remember the plot. That's how good it was. Okay. But it was actually not as bad as I thought. Because I'd always heard like, we were in this bad Disney movie, The Minutemen. And then I watched it and I was like, this isn't as terrible as I thought. Anyway.
That's cool. We got to watch that at some point.
My husband who was in The Minutemen. I mean, it's not good. Don't say, I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying it's not as bad as I thought.
Listen, if Sean's in half the movie, it can't be bad. It has to be at least visually interesting.
I'll send you a screenshot of him at the school dance. With Josie. With my Josie. She was in it too. My goodness. Yeah.
Just burying all the leads here. Keep it Josie and watch Minutemen on Disney Plus, probably. I assume it's there. Never even heard of this movie. Anyway, so, listen, Sybil Ludington, there's not a lot written about her. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to focus on the events that made her famous. So there's not a whole like Sybil Ludington, you can fill in the blanks. She grew up, she was born in 1761. She went to school. I don't know, whatever. Did stuff.
She witnessed a bunch of stuff that was happening at the time.
Exactly. So basically, on April 25th, 1777, a bunch of Brits landed on the Connecticut coast. It was a 2,000-man force commanded by General Tyron and they landed near the mouth of the Saugatuck River, arriving with 20 transports and 6 warships. So this is like on the south side of Connecticut.
Okay.
And I don't know. They were hoping to go to like the Maritime Aquarium Center because they wanted to watch an IMAX movie or something, but then they saw it wasn't there anymore, so they were just like pissed. And they're like, we leave here. But someone had heard that the nearby town of Danbury had some cool places like Stu Leonard's and like the Danbury Fair Mall where they could stock up on supplies. So they decided to get their march on and head north.
Silver linings. You got to pitch into the silver lining.
I've mentioned Stu Leonard's to you before. It was
I know. I recognize it.
It's the greatest grocery store ever.
Oh, that's right. It's a grocery store. Man, your Connecticut years are like this weird amorphous mystery to me because you'll just be like, and this time in Connecticut. I'm like, what?
You're like, what?
Fascinating.
Listen, born in the Bay Area, raised until I had to move to Connecticut for elementary school. And then we left.
Back to the Bay.
Yeah. And then we would come home for every summer, like as soon as school got out. And then until school got back in. We were just here the entire summer.
Sacramento.
So, listen, plenty of good people still in Connecticut.
Sure.
Probably. No slight against Connecticut. I just didn't like living there. It was not very welcoming to me at the time.
Yeah, I can see why.
So if you're from Connecticut, let us know. You can see why I wasn't welcome anywhere.
Yeah, because you're annoying. I'm just kidding.
It's true, right? And this time,
shut up.
This whole time, I thought it was because Connecticut was mean and racist, but it's actually because I'm irritating as shit.
It's just really like with that high concentration of just white people. Yeah, I can't see you, enjoying yourself with. Did you have like friends? Were people nice to you at least, or other kids?
Oh yeah. No, I had some
good.
friends.
That's
I got bullied a lot, but I also had friends. Of course, it's the same thing. I think I told you this. One of my friends in elementary school, shout out to Doug Smith. He was the Jehovah's Witness kid. Because this is my long history of just another guy who was like, oh, the white people make fun of you too because you're this other thing. And he's like, yeah.
I'm also the weird one out, the odd one out.
Yeah. So Doug was my primer for making Mormon friends as I got older. I was like, I get you.
You're a freak.
Yeah. I definitely had friends. Anyway, with this charming personality, how could I have avoided it?
I don't know why I asked you if you had friends. That's rude. I'm assuming you had friends.
Yes, I had some friends. I was not the popular kid, if that's what you're asking. No, I was not.
I guess I should have asked, what was it like growing up as the only non-white kid in your class? Instead of did you have
complicated.
Friends?
Yeah, no, it was difficult.
It was all sorts of things.
Yeah, anyway, it was all kinds of needing to go to therapy as I got older.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. It's okay. We've gone to therapy now and we're grown up and we're adults and we've dealt with it by having a podcast. So I'm going to keep going.
Woo! This is just cheap therapy.
Exactly. So the British soldiers, they get to Danbury and, no one brought a map and everyone's arguing. And they're like, I don't know. Are we supposed to take exit 7 or exit 8 to get to Stu Leonard's? I don't know. And it's like a shit show. But as they're marching along, they're also leaving chalk marks on the properties of British loyalists and informants.
So just like people do with like parking, they go around leaving chalk marks.
Exactly.
Wow.
These are just meter maids. They're English meter maids.
Bunch of meter maids. Wow. You couldn't do just chalk? Are you kidding? That's
what
dumb.
they're doing. Yeah. And they're like,
give me the chalk.
Give me the chalk, Reginald. Oh, this man called it football, but that man called it soccer. Screw him. He does not get the chalk. Oh, this guy spelled color with a U, so he's good. And that other guy pronounced it aluminium.
Because that is the only difference between all of us genetically. Yeah. That's literally what it was. Like, we just say things different.
These people had moved like 3 years before. I don't understand.
Still British.
It's also stupid. Yeah. So they're...
It's a great reaction. Head and hands. This is so stupid.
Aluminium. Color. Cooler. So if your house didn't get Marmite sprayed across it, that meant it was to be destroyed.
Rude.
And by 4 p.m., several Continental Army storehouses and 3 houses were set aflame. 3 houses of people, as well as the storehouses. So this was especially devastating because for security reasons, the Yanks had recently transferred their supplies from Peekskill to Danbury, where they thought it would be safe. They had just moved a bunch of shit over there because they're like, the Brits are going to come attack this. We need to make sure it's in Danbury so it's safer. And the stores included stuff like flour, beef, pork, sugar, molasses, coffee, rice, wheat, corn, and also like a bunch of wine and rum. Damn. Additionally, they had hospital cots and tents, and along with some clothing and shoes and cooking utensils. So it's just like all the goods were there.
Wow.
And the next thing you know, the British soldiers, what do? They find the rum.
Oh.
And
what did they do?
Just like a bunch of goddamn moochers, they just start drinking it.
Are you kidding? Jeez. This is 1778? 77.
77. And they're just hammered. And now, if you've ever seen a bunch of drunk Englishmen, I don't know if you've ever watched a soccer game, which is what we call it here in America, but it could get ugly real quick. Yeah.
Than being on the tube with a bunch of soccer hooligans who are so drunk.
Yep. And just like that, the next thing you know, they're like grabbing supplies and they're like drinking. But then someone was like, oh, there's no like, I I don't know, pickled cockles or whatever atrocity the English refer to as food. And so the next thing you know, they get really
I like
mad.
How you haven't missed any chance to just roast the English. It's like we're talking about Revolutionary War. You're like, I'm getting life out of this story by just making fun of the English.
Listen,
I mean, look,
usually in this podcast, I'm an Iranian American.
Lost the war.
But for this one, I'm an American Iranian. Both sides of my identity hate them.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, that used to be a thing. Is to just be like middle finger to the English because we're American. There's too many Americans now who are like sucking the dicks of the royal family and all that shit.
It's the royal family. It was that royal wedding back in 2011. And like, seriously, it's like, oh, now all of a sudden their propaganda, their royal propaganda didn't work on England, but it worked on us. And now stupid. Americans are just like,
I'm an Anglophile. I love all things England. No, I'm like, no, this is America.
No, you love the royal family and you like the idea of being a princess, which sounds that honestly, being a princess would suck.
Yes. Once again, I have that on both sides with the Iranian side and the American side.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not the
More
American
recently
side,
on the Iranian side.
Yeah. No, that's always been there, unfortunately.
No. Like that's the most recent. What is it? Offense the British? I mean, like the national.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yes, on the English side, not on the Iranian side.
The closer in history on the Iranian side than the revolution. Yes. But
anyway, so they're mad because there's no pickled cockles, and then they just get angry and they start lighting more shit on fire. Wow. They're like, "Oh, your food's not milquetoast enough."
Everyone here's savage. Look at us. We're just gonna light the whole town on fire and drink all your rum.
There's nothing but ranch dressing here. We hate it.
And what's root beer tastes like cough syrup. Lemonade is Sprite. No, it's not. I almost the fourth time I was like, "Do you have lemonade?" They're like, "Sprite." Like, I'm done. I'm done with this place. Now it's different,
and it's chaos. There's fires everywhere, and suddenly the Yankees, the Americans, are like, "Oh shit, they have destroyed Stu Leonard's, dude. What the hell? What about my free samples? Absolutely not." And so they send these messengers and they go in every which direction to announce that the British have gotten there and they're just lighting shit on fire. And on the evening of April 26th, this is the next night, this is still 1777, a wounded messenger reached the house of Sybil's father, Colonel Hank, over in Kent, New York, which is just on the other side of the New York-Connecticut border. And Hank, he's slipping in and out of sleep. He's watching like a World War II documentary on the History Channel. And then he hears a knock on the door. And he goes to open it. And it's this dude just covered in sweat, right? Because he's been riding like crazy because he's got to warn everybody about what's going on. He'd ridden like the Dickens. And he's like,
"Not Stu Leonard's, no."
Yeah, exactly. No. What? They burned my precious Chiquita banana animatronics. What? No.
I know. I should get my young daughter. Right? Is that what's next?
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. It gets a little complicated, right?
Oh,
and
okay.
The problem is that Hank, his 400 men were on furlough, right?
Oh.
And so somebody would have to go around and tell all these different, like, they're like regulators. He's like, "It's time to mount up. We got to go tell them all." But the messenger, well, he was like a noob, right? He didn't even know the area. And he thought like ShopRite and Stop and Shop were the same thing. So you can't trust that guy to go around like knocking on the doors of everybody. And Hank's is like,
he didn't
he's
even
waiting
know
for
what countries in Europe his family came from. Okay. He would fail that assignment.
He showed up with a blank piece of paper the next day. Idiot.
Like a dummy.
And Hank himself, he's sitting there. He's waiting for the Spectrum guy to show up because they'd only given him a window between 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. and he'd already rescheduled this appointment like twice, and it would have been really annoying to have to schedule it again. So they just sat down and they were like, "Damn, I guess we're going to have to go back to eating kidney pudding and shit or like whatever. We're just going to lose to the British."
Kidney pudding. That is disgusting. And that I can't believe I'm saying, but kidney pudding is the grossest thing I've heard this entire episode.
Worse than drinking someone else's diarrhea, apparently.
I would rather drink American diarrhea water than eat kidney pudding.
Because you're a patriot. Because you're a patriot. Because we love America.
Sure.
Listen, some of us are still fighting for this country because it means something to us. Mostly that it's not English.
But there's a lot of other things that I'm also not proud of. So how about
the not English part is probably my favorite part of America. That's the part that keeps me coming back. I'm like, can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're still fundamentally not English, which is cool.
Except kind of.
Kind of love it. Or we're trying. That's the intent. It's founded on the idea of not being English, which we can get behind.
That's true.
So anyway, they're freaking out. They're like, we have to give up. We don't know what to do. But lucky for them, Sybil heard the whole thing. She's just in the next room, and Sybil comes in and she's like, Dad, I'm the eldest daughter. I'm basically another adult from the time I was born. I think I can help. Yeah, why don't you just relax?
Say, she's a third parent in that family.
Exactly. She's a third parent. She's like, why don't you just relax and have a beer and wait for the Spectrum guy to show up while I go out and warn everybody.
And save Stu's.
And save Stu Leonard's. And they all kind of have this moment where they all look at each other. They're like, you're goddamn right, you're going to do that. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And Sybil left for her now famous ride at approximately 9 p.m. Okay?
Oh,
on a school night. And
Sybil, careful.
Just as she got in the back of her trusty steed, who may or may not have been named Star,
cute,
it starts to rain. But nevertheless, she persists. And in a now famous or not famous route, depending on whether or not this actually happened, she rode south to Mahopac and north to Stormville. And she not only had to avoid British soldiers in the area, she also had to avoid British loyalists and people called skinners, who were outlaws with no allegiance to either side in the war.
So like mercenaries, kind of.
I mean, today we call them centrists, who think they're somehow enlightened by not engaging in discussion about genocide, but that's just who they are.
I don't talk about it. I stay out of politics.
I stay out of politics. I think both sides are bad.
I think the genocidal maniacs are on equal footing as the others.
Yeah. I think everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. And if you're not tolerant of everybody having their own opinion, then you're no worse or better than the Nazis. Yeah, so Skinners are the people right in the middle.
The cowards, right.
The cowards, yes. Some accounts indicate that a church bell was rung in Carmel after she gave the alarm, and that a man offered to accompany her on the rest of the ride to try and be protective. But these accounts also claim that she declined this offer and instead dispatched him eastward to sound the alarm. So she's like, I don't need you to help me. You just go the other way and then warn more people that way. Like, we can split up.
She's like, I got this, dude.
Yeah. And in total, Sybil traveled 40 miles and did not get home till dawn the next day, going more than double Paul Revere's ride.
Yes. 40 miles? That's crazy.
40 miles. Yeah.
Just warning everybody.
Yeah. And in fact,
Leonard's was burning. I can't stop thinking about that.
Even Stu. I hope one day we can go visit Stu Leonard's. It was a magical. I hope it's as magical as I remembered when I was a kid.
Might not be.
But here's the crazy part. In fact, Paul Revere himself, he got a notification on his Apple Watch at like 5 a.m. telling him that his friend Sybil had crushed her horse riding ring for the day. And he was like, damn it.
I bet that pissed him off. Did he send her a really like passive aggressive, like canned answer?
Exactly. A thumbs up. It was like, can I call you later? Was his response.
That's true. It's true friend. Or slowpoke, or just the snail emoji that it gives you. Nothing makes me happier than doing that.
Does it taunt you when you get a notification from me?
No,
cool?
It's just like when you finish a workout, if I click on it, it's like reply, and it has all these like just like auto answers, and they're all dumb. Funny. I pick the worst one all the time, which is, I think one time it was just okay. Or there was another one that was just like, I can't remember, but I love doing it. I don't know where my watch is though, so.
You never do.
Snail emoji.
Okay, so reports differ, but somewhere between 400 to 700 men, somewhere in that scale, were able to rally and go after the Brits on the 27th. And while it was too late to save Danbury, the Yanks were able to push the Brits back, and the skirmish is what would go on to become the Battle of Richfield.
Okay.
And which you don't know because you're not from Richfield, but that was the Battle of Richfield was a big deal.
Did you guys learn about that a lot?
Sorry.
Did you learn about the Battle of Richfield and Richfield?
I don't remember learning. Again,
You're just in survival mode.
High on cough syrup. B, 30-something years ago. I don't particularly remember. 8. Yeah, I'm like, they might have taught us about the Battle. I remember seeing plaques and stuff about it.
Questions this whole episode. How did you feel in Danbury?
The Battle of Richfield, it's led by Major General David Wooster, that was a name I heard all the time. There was like another school that was the Wooster School.
Oh, interesting.
And the Yanks twice attacked Tyrion's Guard near their march south. And in the second encounter, Wooster was mortally wounded and died 5 days later. This is the thing that kills him. So he was a pretty famous general. And then the main encounter then took place in the heart of Richfield, where several hundred militia under the command of future traitor Brigadier General Benedict Arnold confronted the Brits and were driven away in a running battle down the town's main street, but not before inflicting casualties on the British. And ultimately, the Yanks, they lost the battle, but of course, they'd ultimately go on to win the boring. So why is the story of Sybil Ludington not more well known?
Yeah. Is it because it's not true, like you said? Or is it just good old-fashioned sexism?
I mean, there's definitely that. And of course, there's not a whole lot of records around the Revolutionary War necessarily. And it's like, if you think about it, like, why would a sausage fest army at that time in the middle of getting killed by a bunch of Brits, like, take time to be like, ooh, we're going to give this 16-year-old girl credit for waking us up in the middle of the night. They're like, she was probably going to the grocery store anyway. And like, you know, just did this on her way. Like these guys aren't thinking about 16-year-old women as people. No. They're thinking about them probably as like property to protect. So I would
say that, though, like, there is that aspect of a lot of cultures where they have that, like, the victory is always represented as a woman, where, like, all those paintings from, like, Napoleon's France always have victory as a woman. It's like, there's always, like, or like Joan of Arc, there's always, like, this heroic sort of, like, young girl leads army trope in a lot of countries. So maybe that was our version.
So, funny you used to say that. This excerpt from the Smithsonian I found is pretty interesting, and I'll read it to you. Quote, "It's notable that Sybil's story resurfaced early in the colonial revival period, the patriotic upswelling that accompanied the Revolutionary War's centennial. Indeed, though the details of Paul Revere's ride are much more established, he didn't become truly famous until around the same time. And amid this surge of public enthusiasm, female folk heroes from the Revolution began to assume a special place in the American imagination. It was following the centennial that the tale of Betsy Ross and the first flag began to circulate, while old family stories took on fresh resonance. It's important to view these stories," Harvard colonial historian Laurel Thatcher Ulrich says, "not just in the context of when they supposedly happened, but when they emerged and became popular. Like most Revolutionary era women, Ludington didn't leave behind many official documents. The lack of details about her life has made her a standard bearer for all kinds of causes."
Fascinating. Laura Thatcher Ulrich is, I like her a lot. She's
know
written,
her? Okay.
Yeah, she wrote A House Full of Females, which is a book I'm reading right now.
That sounds like every time I'm in New York visiting your family.
Yeah, you and my uncle are the only ones.
In A House Full of Females. So here's the insane part. So now that story is kind of more known, and she was made a stamp at one point by the U.S. Post Office. Yep.
Oh, yeah, contributors to the cause. There she is. Sybil Ludington, youthful heroine. She's she's like riding a horse, going, and then behind her is a burning building.
I forget what town this is in, but something, this crazy ass statue about her.
Whoa, she looks insane in this. She looks manic. Whoa.
And fun fact, my favorite of all of these, the NRA gives an award in her name's honor every year for being a true patriot.
Is it just for women in the NRA? Because usually they do something like that. Or is it everybody?
You know what? That's a good question. Let me double check.
Usually the NRA is really into separating by gender.
It just says nominate someone for the Sybil Ludington Award.
Nice. Okay, I guess. I think all of it's NRA bad, but like I was going to say, like, do they give them a pink gun? Because they do that as well. They're like, for the ladies in your life.
Too much into it, but it is on the NRA web, which is funny because I was looking and I was like, oh, I guess I have NRA website cookies now on my computer.
What? It's just going to delete all other lists you're on. The FBI agent's going to be like,
shit,
he
you're
checks
right.
out.
It's probably for the best. Yeah. They're like, oh, he went to the NRA. He's good.
We got him. We got him on our side.
Hey.
Well, anyway, that's cool. I like that we have a female folk heroine, even if it's not totally true. I think it's important. I mean, I think it's not important. I think it's expected for every society to have that sort of thing, I guess.
I mean, listen, it's not true. It's just that there's not a lot of evidence to support it.
I bet some of it's true.
Like, who knows? Like, what evidence would there necessarily have been?
Right.
So it's kind of one of those like weird gray areas and like whatever, who cares?
I'd be interested to know what else, like that centennial in 1876 or whatever. What else? What other propaganda came out of that? Because I know Betsy Ross didn't really exist. Like her family, she existed, but she never had anything to do with she did not design the flag. That was all made
You're
up.
shattering my perception of the American dream. I didn't know any of that.
I know that you had your perception was up here, golden, beautiful American dream that you've lived and experienced in all forms. But I'm sorry, but Betsy Ross isn't really real. Well, she is, but a lot of stuff was kind of fake. Propaganda.
What?
I hate to say it.
No, you're lying. Anyway, that is my tab.
Cool. That was awesome.
Thank you. I managed to make it through.
I like that a lot better than Paul Revere.
Yeah, it was funnier. Plus, it had Richfield and Stu Leonard's in it. Stu Leonard's famously been there since the Revolutionary War. If you're Stu Leonard and you're listening to this podcast, I will be a sponsor. Just let us know. Reach out.
What's it like being 300 years old? I want to know what that's like. What was it like back in 1750 when you established your grocery store? Stu and STEW?
Yeah, Leonard's.
Oh, wow, look at that.
It was it's like kind of like, it was like, I remember it akin to like a Trader Joe's almost, where there's a bunch of Stu Leonard's branded everything. And it would seem awesome.
Interesting.
But then it's laid out like an IKEA where you come in and then you have to walk through the whole store.
What?
And then it's like a bunch of awesome produce. And then there's all these animatronic, there's a Twinkie the Kid that talks. And then it's kind of crazy how much money they spent on them.
You weren't kidding about the animatronics of it?
Well, it's straight up. They're in there. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese, level of thing. It was awesome.
I'm looking at the animatronics. This guy's dressed as a milk carton.
It's really cool.
A stage?
Yeah. And there's free samples everywhere. It was and then at the end there's frozen yogurt, or there was anyway. It was magical. I loved Stu Leonard's.
Need to go to Stu Leonard's. Thanks, Sybil Ludington, for protecting this place.
For protecting Stu Leonard's.
That was fascinating. Now I just want to read more about, like I said, the propaganda from the Centennial, but maybe that's going to be a different tab.
Another tab for one day. Anyway, now we can come to the point in the show where we close our tabs. What would you like to do? I don't want to touch anything from the first tab.
Nope. How about we do a bunch of...
We're just going to we're just going to disgust ourselves. So let's do a horse banging on something and falling over. I don't know. Gunshots. Just knocking on a door. There's a war.
Some gunshots.
Let's burn them. Let's burn them like the British burned all the American supplies.
We're going to burn the warehouses of tabs down. All right? Okay. Yeah, I'm a good call on the mine. Oh, okay. You ready?
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Close them. Get these
Good riddance.
Good riddance. Okay.
Moving on to listener emails.
Oh, moving on to listener emails.
Let people know. Maybe it's their first time there. Maybe Stu Leonard is someone sent me this podcast and he's not familiar with what the structure of the show is. Stu Leonard,
I don't think he made it this far. I don't think anyone made it this far. And if you did, you get a gold star.
Gold star.
So this is from Amelia from Australia. Hi, Alyssa, Hannah, and Kaveh. I refer to this first tab frequently as an example of how easy it is for someone to make a catastrophic drug error. Let pharmacists have toilet breaks, my God, is what they say, as well as irrefutable evidence of drug efficacy. I accidentally closed it, and when searching for it again, I found the second tab. They're linked, so I'll share both. This story goes, in 2019, infants in Spain were given an oral formula that was meant to contain omeprazole. By the way, all babies in this are totally fine. They all are good. Just want to say that first off.
To all of our baby listeners.
All the baby listeners, nothing to worry about. A drug used commonly for reflux. The mixture was made incorrectly due to human error and instead contained minoxidil, a drug used to counter hair loss.
Hair loss, yeah.
Yeah. As a result of the error, the affected babies grew hair all over their bodies.
Oh, no.
Developing werewolf syndrome, medically referred to as hypertrichosis. At least 17 infants were affected. A more recent series of incidents have occurred in Europe, this time in infants who were exposed to the drug incidentally via their caregivers who were using a topical formulation of minoxidil. The babies were absorbing it through their skin and also grew hair all over their bodies.
Oh, no.
All babies recovered after exposure was ceased.
Sideburns from elementary school.
We're going to call this Persian baby syndrome.
Persian baby syndrome. We're all... By the way, just regardless of gender, we're all like that. We all have We all
Harry?
got the sideburns, yeah.
Oh, you meant that. You had the sideburns?
Yeah. We all had the peach fuzz from the young age in the unis.
Interesting. I'm going to look some stuff up after this. P.S. Boeing sexuals. For a novel about being a Boeing sexual, look up Sky Daddy by Kate Folk. The story of Linda who wants to marry a plane. It's really hilarious. # not sponsored. P.P.S. If you get the book, please support an independent bookstore or your local library. I'm behind, so I have no idea what we're up to with sign-offs. So I'll just say thanks for your hard work and love you pour into this thing. Take care, Amelia. Thank you, Amelia.
We also have no idea where we are with sign-offs. Every episode
we don't have a sign-off anymore.
Every episode is like a chore of knowing how to sign off, and we're bad at it.
Somebody should go through and just write down what we say in each episode and see how it evolves.
Let us know in the comments what you think we should sign off with. What makes the most sense? Because we don't know. We cannot figure it out.
No, I mean the Gwen Stefani
Nothing feels right is the thing. Is like every time we do it,
Josie
just feels
felt right,
weird.
And we decided we needed to not do that anymore. I don't remember
because
why.
we're ADHD. Because I was like, we already did that. We need a new one now.
We did that for a year.
Yeah.
That's right. The Josies were on, and we were like,
that's what happened after the Josies came on. We were like, we did it. We made it Josie. We didn't keep it. They kept it Josie for us.
They kept it Josie. Yeah. Okay. So,
bro, I don't know.
Keep it.
We're not signing off yet. We have one more.
Oh. Okay. Which your turn?
Email number 2 is from Amani from Central Texas.
Hi.
Hello, Hannah, Kaveh, and Alyssa. I'm writing this email to tell everyone, but mainly Hannah, that there is a Dr. Pepper museum in Waco, Texas.
Did I ask about that at some point?
Apparently, we've talked about a lot of things. I don't remember. I don't remember anything, ever.
Great. Okay.
Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco, and my elementary school took field trips there when I was a kid. We learned all about the drink and the company, but the most memorable part for me is the animatronic version of the inventor of Dr. Pepper, Charles Alderton.
More animatronics.
That's why I chose this one.
Oh, perfect.
Actually, let me send you. They've included a link.
Nice.
Or actually, you have the thing open. Just click on the link. Let's send you shit. You have the doc open. His dead-eyed stare, jerky movements, and jiggly cigar-holding hand waving around as he tells you how the drink came to be creeped me out so much. I wish you could experience it for yourself, but sadly, he was turned off and is now a stationary display after the museum's recent remodel. I've attached a link to the YouTube video from the museum that shows the functioning animatronic. The museum itself is in the historic 1906 Artesian Manufacturing and Bottling Company building, and they do ghost tours. I haven't done that part, but maybe you can see Charles Alderton moving around if you decide to go. I absolutely love the podcast. I can't wait for Kumatab. That's my entry. So it's Kumatab 4, but instead of the I in Kumatab, it's IV. So it's like the Roman numeral 4. So Kuma4tab.
Ooh, I like that.
Keep it Josie at the Dickie Nixie Soviet pool party. Kumatab's #1 fan, Amani. P.S. A small Dr. Pepper from a soda jerk is included in the price of admission to the museum. That's good to know.
Okay.
Do we Keep it Josie at the Dickie Nixie Soviet pool party? That's kind of fun.
It's a mouthful, but it's better than a mouthful of Stubbins.
Not even going to say it. Yeah.
Stubbins' first drink. So
I'm going to alienate everybody if I continue with the jokes that are coming into my mind. So I'm just going to say,
hear them.
No, off camera, we'll say them. It's too much. If you also have, thank you to Amani and who's the first person? Amelia.
Amelia.
Thank you to Amelia and Amani for submitting listener emails. If you too have a listener email you'd like to submit, please send it to 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500. We also love to hear your voice, so you can send a voice memo and we can play it on the show. Tell us what kind of weird shit you're learning about. Yeah. Share some fun articles with us or links or whatever. That's part of the
boundaries, turns out.
Speaking of community, we also have a Discord, which if you haven't signed up for, you should do that now because that link's there.
Abnormally active, apparently. It's an extremely active Discord for having 300 people.
300 something. It's more than that at this point, but yeah.
Join that, and please, even if you don't listen to this on YouTube, just go hit subscribe on YouTube so we can get to 1,000 and we can start our YouTube career.
And if you know somebody, if you love Stu Leonard's, send this podcast to them. If you're Paul Revere, send this to Paul Revere. Share this with him.
If you love vaccines, send this to somebody.
Yeah. Quick announcement before we log off. This weekend is Los Angeles Comic-Con. I'm going to be on the Mina panel on Saturday. September 27th at 11 a.m. I don't have a room number, but if you look on my social media, on Instagram, I'm at PermaFriends, and I'm Covetarian on Blue Sky. I'll post the information if you're interested. And if you're going to be at LA Comic Con, please come check it out. It's a fun little panel. I've done it a billion times. It's always a good time.
And tell them what it is.
Oh, it's the MENA panel. MENA
What's
creators.
MENA?
MENA, Middle Eastern, North African creators and actors
Nice.
and stuff. And we do stuff and we talk about being brown and like, oh my God, can you believe that my teacher in 4th grade wanted me to go home and find out what country in Europe my family's from and draw that flag and bring it to class.
That's all you'll have to talk about. There's no conflicts whatsoever.
None.
Yeah, but don't be racist and go to it. How about that?
Yeah, great. Lastly, New York City Comic Con's coming up. We're just a few weeks out. We're going to be at table D33 in Artist Alley. Hannah and I are both going to be in New York. If you're going to be in New York, if you're going to be at New York Comic Con, come say hello.
Please.
Please.
And if you want to follow us, you can follow us at 500 Open Tabs. Did you already say that? Doesn't matter. And you can follow me at Hannah Hillam and follow Kaveh at PermaFriends.
Yeah, I already said this, but anyway, yes.
You did?
No one's going to follow us anymore. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we are closing out. Hannah, thank you for
what a mess.
Delicious tab. I'm excited to go have my lunch finally.
Go eat.
And in the meantime, keep it Josie at the Soviet Nixon pool. I don't remember.
We can't even say it. Keep it Josie at the Dickie Nixie Soviet pool party.
What she said. Bye.
Whoa. Is that you throwing up all of the diarrhea water I made you drink? Bye.